Hello and welcome to Old Lady Plays. I'm Kate, the old lady, and this is Making Your Train Move, a Class 323 tutorial for Train Simulator 2022. Let's dive straight into it. No reason to keep waiting. Here is the cab of a 323. I've taken a screenshot and labeled it some for you. So when we get started, the first thing you want to do is turn on the master key. Alright, so that it will start off in this sort of vertical position. You change it to this horizontal position, as you can see here, and that will turn on the entire train. So good news there. Next thing to make sure that you do, I think personally, is number 4 over here, the cab lights, because then you can see what else you're doing in the place. Kind of useful. And then once you've done that, you need to make sure that the reverser, which is this thing over here, the forward reverse, is in forward. You'll see it on your HUD here where it's up at the top in the blue knob. The blue knob is your reverser. The red knob is your throttle and brake, or your throttle, and black is your brake. Now, on this particular train, the throttle and brake are integrated. So you want to make sure that you understand how that works. The white line in the middle here is the divider. Basically above that you're going to be accelerating, below that you're going to be decelerating, you're braking. So it's a little simpler than some other trains. Ordinarily you'd have to reduce the throttle and then increase the braking. In this case, reducing the throttle increases the braking automatically. Alright, so getting started. First things first, the master key. Second thing, the cab lights. Third, I like to put on the head and tail lights to make sure that they get done. There's various settings here depending on when it's day or night or whatever. So make sure you get them set the way you want them to. And then you want to start getting ready to go, which is nice. Important thing here in terms of getting started. On your DRA, the DRA is a driver reminder appliance. The purpose of this is to give a driver a second warning if they are stopped at a red signal. So you pull up to a red signal, you hit the DRA, and what that does is it won't let you move the train until you acknowledge the signal by turning off the DRA. Alright? That's important because then you won't accidentally forget that there's a red light there in, doing your other tasks, and suddenly you're going to SPAD. Signal passed at danger, passing a red, and that's the end of your drive. So that's no fun. So DRA important. When you want to go, make sure it's not set, which means it'll look like it is here in this picture, horizontal. If it's set vertical, the light will come on as well. The switch is lit, and you'll know that that needs to be turned off before you go. If you don't turn it off, you will go nowhere. Doesn't matter how much throttle you put in, whether you're going forward or reverse, you will go nowhere. Okay, so having made sure that the DRA is turned off, turning on your head and tail lights, you've got your throttle and brake here and the forward reverse. Kick the forward reverse into forward. Throttle brake goes into the positive side, so above the white line, and away you go. Although, to be clear, this throttle handle over here is currently in the neutral position, right at the top, and as you pull it towards you, it goes through the braking positions and then through the throttling positions. So it's upside down compared to the HUD version of the same thing. That's really important to know. So if you're driving by the HUD, you can use the red handle on the HUD, move it up and down. That'll get it throttling and braking. If you use the actual controls, you pull it towards you to get the braking, and then pull it further towards you to get the throttle moving. It's a little confusing compared to the HUD, but there it is. And the last thing that I want to point out to you here is really important, is the AWS, this big yellow button right here. Mark number 5, AWS. That is the automatic warning system. And what it does is, at set points along the track, particularly if there's a signal against you, it will set off a reminder beep that you have to acknowledge by either hitting this button or Q on your keyboard if you're playing with a keyboard. Okay? So that's going to happen. If you don't do it, if you ignore it and don't acknowledge it, after a certain amount of time, the train's emergency brake will kick in. Once it does that, the train is going to come to a complete stop. That's just the way the emergency brakes work. You can't turn them off. So, yeah, be careful with this, with the AWS. Make sure you acknowledge it as quickly as possible every time it goes off. You'll see it come up on your HUD as well in this exclamation mark box here on the right side. That's going to light up and you'll hear the noise as well. So it's not easy to miss, but if you do, you're going to pay the price for it, because you will come to a complete stop on the line and have to start all over again from scratch in terms of getting the train moving. So there you go. That's the basics of getting your train moving. We're going to roll over into an example of this now. I've got a little video I recorded earlier, and it will show you how this works in reality. So let's cut away to Past Me. Okay, here we are in the train now. This is class 323, same train we were just looking at. Alright, there's the set of controls, as you know. So remember, we start with the master key. That's important. And then I'm going to turn on the lights over here with the button here. Come on, there we go. And the lights are on. Hooray! So as you can see, the DRA is not set. If I set it, it looks like this. And then it'll be lit up when we're actually ready to go. So that's not how you want to do it. Lights, let's put the lights on and the tail lights on. That'll do. And look up. Let's get rolling. I'm going to I'll use the controls here this time. We're in forward. That was the AWS beeping, so to remind me that I've just pushed it into forward. And then we bring this up to power 1, and we should start rolling. Come on. There we go. There we go. I had the DRA mistaken. It was the other way around. So the DRA is in fact off when it's lined up with your travel, as opposed to when it's not. And there you go. Your train is moving. That's the plan. So yeah, that's how you get your train moving. If you cannot get it moving, I will link in the description to a Steam forum post that has a checklist for how to get your train moving if it won't move. Really handy, very useful. I've used it a number of times myself, and it's taught me a lot about how the game works. So I highly recommend you take a second and read through that. It'll be very useful to you. This has been specifically a tutorial on the class 323. It will apply to most British electric trains, so that's useful. If we have interest, I will also do diesel trains and steam trains and other countries as well. So, and we'll do a bit of a tutorial about how signals work and things like that. There's lots of room for tutorials here, so if you're interested in tutorials, that's what we're going to be doing a fair bit of. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and take care.